for the moment that you've all been waiting for. From just north of the border, he's the hombre with no nombre. Mi hermano from another mamo. He's the Muay Thai Tiger, El Numero Uno.
That's right. You're listening to one of the three Hogsmen. Dev's not here. Big Duke said he'll be here next time.
Or tomorrow for his podcast, or the next 2 days for his podcast.
Or that. But today, it's March 2nd. And we're early birds today, Adam.
The sun is out.
The sun is out. I'm wide awake. You look wide awake right now.
I am wide awake. I've only been up a couple hours, so I'm very wide awake.
So it's nice to be doing this. And you're listening to the Hogsmen Podcast. And I'm El Numero Uno, Mike Camden. What's going on? We missed last week.
I do not remember much of last week. I was very sick. I was kind of out of it. Didn't really feel motivated to do much.
No COVID, though.
No COVID. Tested twice, both negative both times. So
you can still get sick in this world with something else.
And now because the weather changed, my allergies are starting to kick my ass now. So it's a whole new slew of things I'm gonna have to deal with this week.
So you went and got your test done last week.
Yeah.
Question. What day did you go?
I would think I went Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, really? So was this one of the county testings?
No, it was just CVS.
Oh, okay. So I had to get. I was at Championship Wrestling from Hollywood this past weekend, so I had to go get a COVID test last week. And on Monday, I was like, okay, I'll go head down to USD. They have a county testing site right down there, and I'll do it, get it out of the way. And I drive up, and the security guard, they do it inside of the parking lot at USD. And the parking lot's pretty empty. Like, it looks like nobody's there. And the security guard, I go, hi, what's going on? And are you guys closed today? And she goes, yeah, we're closed Sunday, Mondays. And I was like, oh, okay, that's where we're at. Like in this whole COVID deal, because we're at the global pandemic.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we're taking Sunday and Mondays off.
Yeah, well, the thing they don't really talk about right now is that with the vaccines and whatnot, the numbers are going down. So you still shouldn't take days off for testing, but
also that should be the more focus, right? Getting these vaccination sites and all that up. So I drove. So the next day, Tuesday, I showed up, same place, and literally, because with the county, you have to go on some little website, fill out a little questionnaire thing, and it takes maybe 2 minutes. And you're literally waiting to finish that up because there's no line.
Yeah.
There's literally no line.
Okay.
And I was like, oh man, because these are the places that people had to wait in 2 hours, 45 minutes, 2 hours.
And now there's no line.
And now there's no line. And then, so I had a little bit, we're recording early today, and I had a little bit of time before we came here. And I was like, you know what? I'll go get another test because I got to go to, I'm going to Tahoe this weekend for my wife's birthday. We're going to an Airbnb and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, I'll go get another test just to, be on the safe side. And same shit. Nobody there. Literally walked right up to the front, and I had to tell them, hold on, I'm not done with the questionnaire yet. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
That's good, especially for you that has to get tested so regularly because of wrestling. Nice. Like, you don't have to wait, whereas now where it used to be, you probably waited for half an hour, 45 minutes just to get tested.
Some shit like that, yeah. I feel like it's a turning point. You see that kind of stuff, and you're like, okay, cool. We're not out of it.
No,
we're not out of it. But it's nice to see that the light at the end of the tunnel is getting a little bit closer. I guess you can say that.
I got my results back last week quicker than I think I've ever gotten them. I got them in a day.
Right.
You got them right away.
Oh, I got them. I did it Tuesday at around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock rock. And Wednesday morning, I woke up, my test results emailed to me.
Especially right now like I said, with wrestling, you need those results kind of right away so you can.
Yes, you do.
Get your in-ring work.
Yes, you do.
So to everyone out there, go get yourself tested as soon as possible before your shows.
But so I was last weekend. I had the house to myself. My wife was in Chicago. She went out there to go see her family. She was out there just for the weekend. So I had the house to myself. I don't think I even didn't really do anything. I went and trained Saturday morning for a little bit, light little workout, doing Muay Thai. See, I'm a Muay Thai student.
Muay Thai master.
No, I'm a student. And then Sunday, went up to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Made actually, I guess it's not my return, right? Because Devin and I were up there for that little battle royale
you did
thing.
that battle royal.
But went up there and did some matches. I'm not going to tell you what happened. You'll have to tune in a couple weeks and find out. But it was cool, man. It was nice to be back up there in the wrestling scene. A little bit, I think I've only wrestled at Level Up the past few months.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's about it. Oh, I mean, except for like that battle royale thing. But it was nice to kind of just change up the scenery a little bit and see a bunch of the guys. Man, so Aaron, the guy formerly known as Damian Sandow from WWE, he's like a agent producer up there. What a great guy, man. What a great guy. Such a nice dude.
Yeah, you hear a lot of good things about him.
Yeah, and you know what? From the interactions I've had with him, I'm right there with him, man. He great guy. Great guy. Very upbeat, very supportive up there, telling everybody like, he just is, you can tell he's one of the boys.
Yeah.
But he's office up there, but he's one of the boys. And he was cool, man. I got to chat with him for a little bit. It's cool, dude. I don't know what happened. WWE dropped the ball on that hard. That Damian Sandow character was, and not just the Damian Sandow character, him in general.
Yeah.
Incredible worker. As far as he got over everything they asked. Hey, go be this character. He got it over. Go be the Mrs. Stunt Double.
Yeah.
He fucking got it over. Everything, man. Everything.
I would say he probably suffered from the too nice of a guy thing, where sometimes those guys don't end up getting what they deserve, like spot wise, because they're just too nice and they don't politic.
Yep.
Not to say that every guy that gets an opportunity politics, but there's a certain aspect of wrestling where people who get politic kind of get further than ones who don't.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I do have to tell the students every once in a while, obviously you don't want to do it too early in your career, but at some point you got to be selfish.
Yeah.
At some points you do have to be selfish. It sucks, but it's in general, it's kind of every man for himself.
Yeah.
Loyalty is a good thing, but loyalty can also screw you over. And, I don't know. It's kind of, it's a crazy road to travel.
Yeah. Did you talk to him at all about the return of NWA Power?
No. Why was that?
No, I'm just kidding. They announced today that they're coming back with a pay-per-view, I think, in a couple of weeks, and then they're going to start taping Power episodes again.
Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
soon. So I feel like wrestling is slowly starting to get back into the rhythm of normalcy.
Yeah.
Obviously the crowd thing is going to be something that's going to probably stick around for a little bit, especially out here. I don't think there's going to be crowds at California wrestling shows for a while, other than like the Level Up shows.
Very light crowds, hopefully outdoors, if that.
Yeah.
Did you see Texas? The governor's trying to lift the mask mandate.
He did. He completely lifted the mask
he did because
mandate.
he's got the power to do it.
Yeah.
Like we said, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And we're almost there. I'm not sure doing that is going to help out.
No.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? We're in Southern California. We're basically the armpit. Actually, not California in general is like the armpit for this COVID shit right now, right?
Yep.
And it's kind of weird because early in this COVID stuff, Florida was kind of the problem area. You know.
Yeah.
Arizona was a little bit of a problem area. They were kind of a little bit looser on the restrictions and all that kind of stuff. Whereas California, we locked down. We were pretty strict on all the mandates and all this kind of stuff. You haven't heard anything out of Florida or Arizona.
No, it's
like
the
badly.
belief that the herd immunity thing is basically what happened in Florida. Is everybody got sick, and then lesser and lesser people got sick. Like basically, you hit the disease head on, and then it's terrible because some bad people have died.
Yeah,
but now it's like Florida's not as bad. Like we have way more cases than Florida, and yet everyone trashes Florida as being the one who was irresponsible during this whole thing.
Yeah,
and yet here we are, with all the big numbers. But I mean, we're a bigger state, obviously, too.
Yeah.
We shut down for a long time. A lot of people stayed inside for a while, which probably weakened some people's immune system, which made them more susceptible to getting sick.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things, but I'll be so glad in a year when we don't have to talk about this anymore and we can just go back to somewhat normalcy.
Yeah, I hope that. But it's also interesting because you had the two states that went really hard in the paint, California and New York. And now we have Cuomo. He's like going to be under investigation because he was hiding the death count, like the death toll or the numbers, which is insane. And also he's got some other kind of allegations going on. And then you got Gavin Newsom. His ass ain't going to be governor for much longer.
No.
And it's just kind of weird how like the role reversals, I guess you could say, like early in the pandemic, everybody was like praising Cuomo, praising like, you know, like Newsom and like all these people being like, hey, they're taking it seriously. The cats down, the governor down in Florida, they're like, yeah, this person sucks. And now like the revolt, it's reversed.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Basically the way I look at it is like if there's like a serial killer at your door and you close the door and you lock the door and then you're like, oh, he's gone. Then you open it, but he's still there. So that's basically how I felt. Like they closed the door, locked everything down. We're good. And then let's start to slowly open back up. But even slowly opening back up means that there's going to be a good amount of people who are going to be susceptible to getting sick.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to Florida in April. So I'm looking forward to experiencing what a state that does not have any mandates is like right now.
Yeah. Anyway, so we didn't have a show last week. Adam wasn't feeling good. And he said, hey, you know, what do you want to do? And I said, let's just take the week off. And that's the first week I've taken off from doing a podcast, I think, in over a year.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, man. When you texted me like, hey, I'm not feeling good, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, let's just take the week off. It was kind of, I wasn't like in the mindset to do a podcast like last week. So it worked out pretty well.
I get that. It's the burnout.
You know what, man? I'll tell you the truth. I've been kind of the past week, maybe all the way up to like this morning, I've been kind of like a little down, you know? You start to look, you take a step back and you look at everything and you go, what the fuck am I doing? Right? Is all this worth it? Is the training worth it? Is the wrestling worth it? Is the podcast worth it? Because this is a lot of time that we're investing in this stuff. But then, you know, it's weird. When I went up to championship, a few guys were talking to me and they're like, yeah, you know, talking about the podcast, this podcast, our podcast. And I was like, oh, fuck, people are actually listening. All right, cool. You know, like I see the numbers, you see the numbers.
Yeah.
But it's just numbers. You don't see faces.
Yeah.
Who's listening? So for fellow people in the business to be like, oh yeah, I listen to the podcast. That feels good.
Absolutely.
And you go, okay, cool. I'm not just doing this.
You're not just talking to yourself, basically,
Exactly.
which is what it feels like some weeks. You're like, I'm just talking to myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also, you know, when it comes to wrestling, this is hard business, man. There's a lot of competition. You got to try and break out, make a name for yourself. You know, you try different ways and see what happens and maybe luck, you know, strikes. And, you know, I got a message this morning from an unexpected person saying they want to try and help me out getting noticed. And I'm not going to say who this person is because I don't want to, let's say nothing comes of it.
Yeah.
I don't want them to feel bad. But if you're listening and you know what today is and you message me, I appreciate that, man. Because that helped me out. Like, okay, fuck that. You know, you do have people that believe in you.
Yeah.
That support you. And that's cool, man. Because this wrestling stuff, man, it hurts. And it's not just physically, it's mentally. A lot of people, I don't think they understand. I'm constantly thinking about wrestling. It's always in my head. It's always like move sets, matches, psychology, character, gear, you know, like all this kind of stuff. It's constantly going through your fucking head.
Yeah.
There's not like, it's almost like it's very rare for it to not be in your head. And it's a drug. It's a drug,
And then
right?
it turns into stuff where you're watching like a documentary on like something else, and you're thinking about wrestling while you're watching this documentary. Like,
Always jonesing, man.
Yeah.
Always jonesing. Whenever you watch a movie, all you're thinking about is the storytelling in this movie
Yeah.
and how they're doing it. So, yeah, man, you get in funks. And I think I kind of was in a funk all last week, even through like the weekend, even all the way up to this morning. And, you know, when people try and reach out to you and you know, show support, like that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it's almost sometimes people don't realize when they're helping you out. They're just saying something nice to you, not realizing how much more it actually means because of how you're feeling at that moment in time.
Yeah, man. But anyways, speaking of, so we were just talking about controversies with this COVID stuff, right? Hell of a controversy came out today. This is crazy. Adam reminded me of this. I don't think we talked about it on air.
No.
I think Devin, Adam, and I were talking about it off air one day, and I made a statement. I said, Joey Ryan will try and get back into wrestling. He will try and get. I didn't think it'd be this soon,
No.
but he'll try and get back to wrestling. Lo and behold, somebody. Actually, the first person I saw to put it out was, or to call it out was, Ethan HD. And I was like, what is Ethan talking about? And I looked, and there is a wrestling show that is supposed to happen. No, I don't know if it's going to happen anymore. But it was supposed to happen, it was in March.
I think so, yeah.
This month.
Yeah, March 21st, I think I saw.
And it's called Wrestling for Women's Charity. And okay, let's talk about this, Adam. On the there's a promo, or what is it called?
A poster?
There you go, a poster with a lot of well-known wrestlers on it.
Some AEW guys.
Some AEW guys, some Southern California guys, some people that I consider to be friends with.
Gangrel,
my boy. And this show, it was discovered, was being put on by Joey Ryan.
Yep.
And how do you, well, first of all, his face is hidden in the poster.
Yeah, they put him next to Rhino as if you wouldn't see him.
Yeah, he's hidden in the poster, his promo photo. And then somebody, of course, you know, the internet never loses. It's got detectives all over that thing. Somebody found out that he was the one promoting it.
Yeah.
And
It was Bar Wrestling or whatever. They found out was the person who got the license for the show.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just kind of very interesting that, I mean,
it's tough because, you know, especially when it's a wrestling women's charity show.
yeah.
And then he's on it and booking it. It comes off as very so callous in a way.
Read the fucking room.
Read the room.
Read
Yeah.
the fucking room. That's the first thing that I can probably think of. Like, it's in bad taste.
I saw a couple of wrestlers talking about it because now they've announced that they're canceling the show. Some people were speculating that because he's in so many court situations right now, that maybe he can now use this as, oh, the people that they're suing me cost me money by running a show. So there's a couple people theorizing that this was never actually a show that was going to happen. It was just a long con of him going out of his way to book a show so that then he could say in court, well, look, they're really costing me money, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Let's see. And you know what? It really puts because a lot of these people that were pictured on the poster, it puts them in a really bad situation.
Yeah.
And it's very possible. I've been hit up before by bookers being like, hey, you know, this is so-and-so. Are you available to, you know, wrestle or, you know, ask for your rate or all that kind of stuff. And usually if I don't know who it is, I'll kind of I'll see where the area is and go, okay, who do I know in that area? And I'll reach out to that person and say, hey, what do you know about this promotion, this booker, this whoever, promoter, whatever. and at least try and get a little bit of a vibe.
Yeah, what I would do when I would used to book shows is when I would email guys I'd never talked to, I would like reference guys I'd worked with that I knew that they knew.
Mhm.
Like I'd say, hey, I've worked with this guy. You can ask him about me. Like he'll verify that I'm legit, yada,
Yeah.
yada. Like you wish that more promoters would do that when they're hitting people up. Like, hey, I've worked for this guy. If you know, so you can know that they're legit. 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't know. Some guy just emails you from Kentucky. You're like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
I live in California.
And I don't, it just sucks because these wrestlers, they might, I believe that they didn't know. Because
Yeah.
can we read that? Do you have it? It's already been deleted. That
I have the screenshot I sent you this morning.
yeah. Can you read that? Because this we're going to talk a little bit about that.
What the tweet itself?
So the cancellation of the show.
Oh yeah, I didn't have that tweet, but yeah, they said something to the effect of we got ourselves over our heads. We
Sorry to get
obviously
everybody
don't know-
riled up.
Yeah, sorry to get riled up. We don't know what we're doing is another thing they said. I'm like, that's not really something you should be admitting, but
I just looked and they deleted all that.
oh, it's all gone now.
It's all gone now.
So just trying to pretend like none of it happened.
It never happened.
So yeah, but it's the internet. It definitely did
anyways,
happen.
It said that everybody that was involved was fully aware. Oh,
Yeah.
here we go. Okay, somebody still has it up. We apologize for riling everyone up. It is clear that we are in over our heads. Okay, interesting. We'll say that everybody was booked fully aware of all the details, including through AEW's third-party booking system for talent. Rather than put talent in a tough situation, we've canceled the show. Interesting. So now, you know what the funny part about this is? If Joey would have not put his face on the poster,
No one would know.
I'm guessing nobody would have figured it out unless somebody went really deep. But, you know, past the poster, you wouldn't even really, you'd be like, oh, charity. Excellent.
Yeah.
So for this person to be like, whoever's writing this, I'm guessing it's, you know, Joey Ryan writing this. To say that we and that everybody already knew, I don't know if that, come on. Everybody knows like that, like
there's so many people on this poster that I'm like, there's no way these guys would have worked this show if they knew he was on it.
Exactly.
Like I'm looking at like
you got
guys
Sonny,
like
you got Sonny Kiss on there.
Sonny Kiss, like Brian Cage is on there. I feel like Brian Cage knew like you wouldn't sign off on doing this show. Like Gangrel, I'm sure
Yeah.
wouldn't do the show if he knew Joey was on it. I know that Eric Rowan, whatever his name is now, is on this poster too. Like these guys are just way too professional to put themselves in these situations with that because they know
Yeah.
that's just going to get a bunch of heat for being on that show.
Yeah, and anybody who's been told like, hey, you know, give you the heads up, Joey's on this show, they automatically, you would know that's going to be a controversial
Yeah.
topic show. I'm not going to join. I'm not going to put my name in that hat. That's too much. Come on, man. Come on. It's common sense.
Got to be smart.
But anyways, so that got exposed. And this is the crazy thing is, so there's one person on the show that people don't want to participate, right?
Yeah.
Joey. So if this was a legit promotion,
They would just remove him.
you would say, you know what? We're going to take that person off the card. Sorry, you know what? We're first timers here. We're kind of just, you know, dipping our toes in the pro wrestling world. He's no longer on the card. So we're going to still hold it and everybody's still going to be. Instead, you're going to cancel the whole show because one person's on it.
Yeah, because the guy that's nobody wants is the one booking the show.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Crazy stuff, dude. It's I don't know. I don't know, man. Wrestling is a wild, wild place, dude.
Yeah. Something just came across my Twitter. Apparently, B-Boy will be at the GCW show in WrestleMania weekend.
Yep. Saw that.
So good for him.
Good for him, man. He's going out there. Let's see. He's going to be in the Acid Cup.
Yep.
He's going to be entrant number 9. B-Boy. Good luck out there, Benny. Have fun. Anyways, what else is going on, Adam? How you been?
Been okay, you know. Starting this upcoming week, I'm going to be doing the Last Word with Big Duke podcast.
That's it.
Debuting this Friday, so it's going to be Hogsmen. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I keep messing up because the days I'm recording are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but that's not the days the podcasts come out. But
So pay attention for that. The Last Word with Big Duke. So it's so funny because he said he did like a little recording. What was he gonna do?
He said something about he was going to do like a test run.
A test run. There you go. And then later he tweeted out like, okay, this shit's harder than it seems. And he's 100% correct, man. Especially like, if I don't know how Duke's going to do it. Is it going to be like, if it's just you talking into like a microphone by yourself, 100%, it's very difficult. But I've always had somebody to communicate with.
It's going to be me and him probably.
Okay.
Unless he has guests and then he'll just talk to them, obviously. But yeah, it's going to be me and him.
I've always had Devin to talk to, you to talk to, or somebody to join me to talk to.
A podcast by yourself is impossible.
Oh, it's tough.
Impossible.
Man. You have to be a special kind of person to do that. Bill Burr can do it.
Yeah.
Bill Burr is a special kind of person. But good luck. So I thought that was funny that Dan did that. And I commented like, yep, Devin and I had no idea what we're doing either when we first started doing this stuff. We still don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But, it flows a little bit better than I guess how it used to. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. He messaged me and he was like, he started off by asking me like for like tips on things he can do. And it's like one of those conversations where you know where the conversation is going. You're like, I know you're going to ask for my help, so let's just get to that point. And he's like, yeah, it's a pride thing. And I'm like, I get that. I get asking for help is hard. And it's like one of those things. But if it makes your life easier, then you might as well just ask for the help, especially when it comes to this stuff. Like, you just sit there and record by yourself for an hour or 40 minutes, whatever it's going to be. And then you're like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
So you might as well have someone to bounce stuff off of. And
it makes it so much nicer. But anyways, Duke, good luck with the podcast. It will be on our platform, the Hogsmen Pod. And yeah, man, we're taking over the podcast world.
Yep.
Basically.
All three Hogsmen now have a podcast.
We all three have our very own podcast. And
that will probably be the deal for a while, at least. I don't really know if we're going to reunite Devin and Mike on a podcast anytime soon.
Devin will come down.
It almost happened this weekend.
Almost happened.
So you almost had a reuniting of the Hogsmen.
And we'll see what happens. But anyways, what else is going on in this wrestling world? Anything cool happening?
Not really. I'm trying to think. Shaq is wrestling tomorrow night on AEW.
And there's like no build up to that really, right?
There's been some build up, but it's like because the All-Star game is this weekend, which I don't think anybody knew is actually going to happen. So I think the plan was initially going to be for them because they have a pay-per-view this weekend. So I think Shaq was going to wrestle on the pay-per-view, and then they're like, shit, now we got to reschedule it. And now it looks like they might even change the match.
Oh, really?
They might. I think Cody's hurt, so they might take Cody out and put Big Show in the match.
Okay, that's a big news.
That was big news. Yeah,
that get released last week.
Yeah, I think it came out Wednesday. It was the day of Dynamite.
So Paul White, formerly known in the WWE as the Big Show, formerly known in the WCW as the Giant, is now a part of AEW.
Yeah,
crazy, man. I didn't see that coming.
No,
tell you the truth, I probably, just like a lot of other people, kind of forgot about him.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind.
When I first saw it, I thought it was one of those memes some people post. Like every once in a while, you'll see like ice cold Steve Williams is all elite. Like, and you're like, okay, that's not real. But then it says the bit Paul White, and I'm like, his Bleacher Report, and I'm like, is this real?
Yeah. As soon as I saw Tony Khan like tweeted it out, I was like, oh shit. Yeah, the real deal.
It's the first, I think, example since AEW started where they kind of took a guy that I thought was going to be like a WWE lifer. Like I never thought he was going to, I thought he was pretty much done wrestling. He was going to go into acting more, but
hey man, money talks.
Money talks.
Money talks. I also thought it was kind of interesting that they just, they revealed it on Twitter, on social media. I mean, that's, let's say, I don't know how close in Florida they are to running shows with the crowd. Or I know they have like a few people there, like at the newest tapings, right? Like the latest tapings, they've had a little bit of fans there.
They've had some maybe 20% fans now for the last couple of months.
So. But it's almost like a kid with a new toy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you got to show it off. You got to show it off to people. And I mean, that would have been such a huge surprise with the crowd.
Yeah.
I was surprised when I saw it on Twitter. Not like out loud, holy shit.
Yeah.
But it was kind of just a surprising thing. Now, could you imagine if they had the right scenario with fans in attendance, and then all of a sudden, here comes
Paul White.
White onto an AEW out of an AEW entrance. That would have made huge waves.
That'd been crazy. Yeah.
I feel like it was the reveal was kind of wasted a little bit on social media.
I feel there's been so many of these like debuts and returns and whatnot that have just been so wasted on these no crowd shows. But it's like sometimes these guys can't just sit around forever, you know? Like I think Big Show, his Legends contract had run out, so it was like, I guess I'm going now. And I don't even know for certain if he's going to wrestle because they announced him as an announcer for their new Monday YouTube show.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he's going to wrestle at some point, but I don't know if it's going to be like consistently.
I always find that I find that kind of weird. Like the biggest man in the room is going to be is going to be commentating.
It's so weird.
That's kind of interesting, but I get it. He's older. I mean, he's got to be pushing what 50.
I think he's only like 40 something.
But believe me, he's been wrestling for the past 20 years.
He's been wrestling for a long time.
And his body is 100 years old. This shit takes a toll on you. Being that big takes a toll on you.
Oh yeah.
Add it all up, you know.
It's the stuff people don't think about. Like people don't think about like a guy that size trying to get on an airplane.
Oh,
like you see those airplane seats and sometimes they're tight for people who are skinny. You're like, oh, this is tight. Imagine a guy who's 500 pounds,
yep,
7 feet tall, trying to just sit normally on an airplane.
It's not just that. It's especially the lifestyle of a wrestler, the traveling lifestyle. Okay, you need I think he got to the point where he got like his own like tour bus, right? He probably had
I think so,
money.
yeah.
So he probably took care of that. Prior to that, though, think about it. He probably had to, rent cars just like everybody else, normal sized cars. That he probably had to rent like bigger vehicles.
Probably an SUV or something, yeah.
But I mean, just everyday life, taking a shower, in a hotel room. Not everything's built for. I mean, he's he's 7 feet.
He's about 7 feet tall, yeah.
Over 7 feet, maybe.
Yeah. It's one of those things people don't think about that kind of stuff with guys that size, how much like just normal everyday things that we take for granted is so much harder.
So much harder.
You might walk into a hotel room and the ceiling might be too low for you and
maybe
you're walking around like this. Like
maybe. But I thought it was interesting like that, that they unveiled it on social media rather than have him come out at the right time. I would have been like, listen, if I'm Tony Khan, I'd be like, listen, man, this is pretty big news.
Yeah.
Because everybody thought you were like loyal to the WWE. Like, like that's that. So for you to come out onto our stage, it's going to make huge waves. It's not right now. Let's sit on it. I'll give you some money. I'll pay you.
Yeah.
I'll pay you just to chill. I'll keep you on retainer basically. Right.
Yeah.
Here's your deposit. And then as soon as we get like the right crowd, the right storytelling, this will be like, a few months away or whatever. We're go, and we're gonna like make some waves. Just please, we got to keep this quiet. So
yeah, and you would think it would be possible to keep it quiet because if Tony Khan and Paul White are the only guys that know, then it would be pretty easy to keep that quiet.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think they're just trying to create buzz on social media. Like that's basically what AEW has been trying to do this whole time, just make as much buzz as possible.
They made a buzz.
Yeah.
Was it like a huge impactful buzz? Like I don't know about that. It was just kind of one of those things where it's like, oh.
And they announced it on a week where they were airing their taped show. So like there was no chance of him appearing. Like I assume he'll appear tomorrow on their show or tomorrow on Dynamite. So, but we'll see. We'll see what he does. I don't know. Interesting.
Very interesting. We'll see what happens.
And then I don't even know if there's any like other big returns at this point or debuts that I'd save for like crowds come back. Like I always assume that like if CM Punk was ever going to come back to wrestle, it was going to be when there were full crowds again.
I feel like CM Punk is one of those names where if he said he's coming back, that's going to make a big deal. That's huge news. Same thing with like, I don't know, like if Cena jumps ship, that's huge news.
Yeah.
Who else do you think like in the wrestling business, if they were to show up in AEW?
The Rock.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, he's having too good of a life right now.
Austin would never happen. Like, those are like the only guys at that level that I'd be really surprised. Like, Big Show surprised me, but like, I'm trying to think of like main event guys in WWE now. If they showed up, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I know that Tony Khan had talked to Edge, and that would have surprised me. Yeah, if Edge had shown up in AEW.
Yeah,
because I think he even said that he was considering it if WWE wasn't going to let him wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
I know Danielson would have gone to AEW if WWE wouldn't have cleared him, because AEW would have cleared him. Like that would have been a big deal to them to start. But yeah, I don't know if there's anybody else that's really like a big deal that would make that kind of an impact. Punk would be the only one.
Yeah, I think so. Man. Crazy stuff.
We'll see how it goes.
Let's we got a question, right?
We do have a question. Yeah.
Let's check out this listener question. And we appreciate you guys sending in these questions. It helps our lives a little bit, because whenever I draw a blank on what to talk about, I just go, Adam, we have a question.
I actually have questions from last week too that we didn't get to use because we weren't.
Let's do all
here,
of them.
So we'll do all of them. So the first one, this was from last week. This is from SoCal Gabe. I guess this is going back to your offer to give dating advice.
Okay.
Does anyone have any pickup lines they've been successful with, and any that they've used that have gone over like a wet fart?
I have a good friend. His name's David. He's the master of pickup lines, but he knows it, he says it as a joke.
Yeah.
It's basically just to kind of start the conversation. Icebreakers. How much does a polar bear weigh?
How much?
Enough to break the ice. Hi, my
There you
name's
go.
Mike. Are you from Tennessee?
You're the only 10 I see.
You're the only 10 I see. Actually, it was funny. He said that to a girl in Vegas. He walked up and he goes, "Hey, are you from Tennessee?" And she goes, "Actually, I am." And he goes, "Oh, okay. All right." But tell you the truth, if you really want to make an impact on a girl, say something. I don't want to say this. It's like stooging out the boys. I don't want to do it. But what are we talking about again? Pickup lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course they work, man. It just depends on the girl. If the girl's got a sense of humor, she'll understand what it is.
Did you use any pickup lines on your now wife?
No.
No?
Well, because I worked with my wife for 2 years prior to.
Okay. So it was a Jim and Pam situation from The Office.
I don't watch The Office. Well, I mean, I've watched like a couple episodes from The Office, but I don't know too much about The Office. So.
Does any comedy show, sitcom with a couple that is always around each other? Just
yeah, friends,
and then turn into.
Here's my advice. So when you just meet somebody, right? Somebody brand new, like let's say you go out one night, you're hanging out with your friends, and you see somebody across the way, and by the I'm not using pronouns right now. I'm saying like, in general, right?
Yeah.
Guy goes out with his friends and meets a girl. Girl goes out with her friends and meets a guy. You don't know who the hell that person is. Okay. You're not meeting, let's call the person Chris or Christine, right? You're not meeting that person. You're meeting their representative. And for the next few months, all you're doing is meeting that representative.
Yeah.
And then once you get more comfortable, it usually takes about like 6 months. Then you'll start seeing the real person.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you still don't live with each other. So you still don't know that person 100%. You know what blows my mind? When people get married that don't live with each other.
Yeah, I've never gotten that. I'm like, shouldn't you know that you can deal with this person on a daily basis before you decide to marry them?
You going to buy a car without test running it?
No, you're not.
Exactly. So the thing is, you got to give it a test run. Whenever you are if you're in a relationship and you guys live, if you're just boyf-girl and you live in separate places, their place is their place. Your place is your place. And it's almost like home team advantage, right?
Yeah.
It's like wherever you are, if you're at your house, you got the advantage. You got the upper hand. If you go to their house, they've got the upper hand, right? So at a certain point, you're going to have to live together.
Yeah.
And your styles might clash. Shout out to AJ Styles. And you got to figure that out, man. You got to figure it out before you get married. It blows my mind when I hear that people get married without living each other.
I think that has a lot to do with like why so many people just end up getting divorced so quickly. Like you really have to know for certain that you want to marry that person. Like, yeah, you might like their personality and you might but when you're married to someone for a long time, like none of that stuff matters at a certain point. Like you have to live together and not want to tear each other's heads off.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you can live together in harmony.
You know what's funny is so I drove home with Jordan Cruz and a referee named Andrew from Championship. And on my way home, I get a text. It's a text to my wife and I. It's from my mom. And she writes, "Happy anniversary." Or she goes, happy anniversary tomorrow. And I just look, I'm driving. So I just took a quick glance at the text and I just saw it for my mom, happy anniversary. And I start laughing because I forgot. It was my anniversary. Yesterday was my anniversary. And I started laughing and Jordan's like, what's up? And I'm like, it's apparently my anniversary. And Jordan goes, I got forgotten. And Jordan goes, oh, damn, are you in trouble? I go, no, I guarantee my wife forgot too. We're not good at remembering our anniversary.
Yeah.
And anyways. So, and plus we have 2 weddings. We had 2 weddings. We have the legal one, right? You go down to the courthouse, you just take care of it, get all that shit taken care of. And then you have the one with all the friends.
The reception, basically.
Well, no, then we had another ceremony down in Mexico.
Okay.
And that's with all the friends and all that kind of stuff. The first one is just to get the legal shit down. Yeah. Right? It's just a contract you're signing.
So which one do you count?
That's the thing. My wife and I never really
decided
that. My wife thinks she's so smart. So here's how it works. You got Valentine's Day just happened, right? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Then we got married on March 1st. Then my wife's birthday is this week. That's why we're going to Tahoe next weekend. And then our Mexico wedding is what we call it, is on we did that March 12th, which I'm pissed off. I'm like, why didn't we do it on 311? Because 311 is one of my favorite bands of all time. And
because that would have been definitely your anniversary.
And well, she was a huge 311 fan too. So I was like, why didn't we do that? But anyways, that's neither here nor there anymore. But anyways, she thinks she's so smart. So she set up all these things to go back to back to back. Valentine's Day, anniversary, birthday, and anniversary. I'm like, you think you're smart doing this, huh? You think you're smart doing this?
And then she just forgets.
And then she forgets.
That's funny. Yeah, I have a friend who got married right before he left for the military, and then they had like a reception after he got back, or the actual wedding when he got back. And I don't think they've ever really decided which is their real anniversary.
Yeah,
because it's like you officially got married this day, but you don't have any pictures from that day. You have pictures of you coming out of a courthouse. Like, is that like, are you going to hang that on your wall in your house?
We got married down at the courthouse right down in like Harbor, Harbor Island area.
Is that the picture you posted yesterday?
Yeah.
That was from that day.
Yeah, and we got to do it outdoors, and it was a beautiful day out, and it's actually a really nice area if you're gonna do that, courthouse stuff. Yeah. If you're gonna do actually the vows and all that kind of stuff, that's like a great area to go because it's beautiful outside.
If you're gonna get married at a courthouse in any city in the world, San Diego is perfect.
Yeah.
Because there's always a beautiful area you can take pictures in front of and be like, this is our wedding day.
Yep. But anyway, so yeah, pickup lines, of course, they'll work on every person. No, but here's the thing: if you're a dude and you go use a pickup line on a girl, and she, sticks her nose up at you and thinks, hey man, she ain't got a sense of humor anyway, so you want to move on.
Yeah,
move on, dude. You already got the red flag. Cool, let's get it out there first, and I'm out now.
The only reason you do a pickup line is to break the ice, and if you can make her laugh, then you're at least gonna get a night of a conversation with her because. Yeah. You can make a woman laugh. It's one of the hardest things to do sometimes.
Yep. So and then yeah, like so. Actually, I was just talking about this with a wrestler of the female species, and I was on Sunday. I was talking about it with her. You find love when you're not looking for it.
Exactly.
Everybody out there that's constantly searching for it, you ain't gonna find it. It's just got to happen. It's just got to happen. Okay. That's what happened with my wife and I. It just happened. And I knew my wife. I had worked with her for 2 years prior to getting married to her, to dating her.
Yeah.
So I knew my wife. My wife knew me. We know way too much about each other.
Yeah.
We observed, we saw that each other in like different kind of situations, it's just, but you know what? Everybody, hey, live your life.
Yeah.
Live your life. What my best friend who uses those lame pickup lines, he told me, he goes, I'd rather have a wife that has gotten everything out of her system. She went and she had a great time.
Yeah.
She lived when she was, in her, she went out there and experienced life. And then she's ready to leave all that in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing that can happen is you get married young and you don't get to experience being young. You don't get to experience being 18 years old, 21 years old, and doing all that cool stuff. I've seen it a lot, man. Older women who got married too young, and now they're trying to relive that.
Yeah. They go through their wild period in their late 30s.
Yeah.
Basically.
Or like 40s.
Or 40s.
Yeah. And it's like, that's fine. Live your life. But I would rather get that stuff out at the right time, when I'm younger. Because now I used to always be about going out, having fun, partying, getting drunk, all that kind of stuff. Now on a Friday or Saturday night, you find me on my couch.
Yeah.
And that's all I want to do.
And dating gets harder as you get older anyway. Like, can you imagine if like right now you had to re-enter the dating pool, how hard that would be? Like,
no, thank you, man. Especially, I'm not even down with like, it's all online dating.
Yeah.
Like, so when I first started dating Beth, I was working in the nightclub, and a few of my door guys this is when like the online dating had just kind of started.
Yeah.
Right. I remember hearing about Plenty of Fish, and I'm like, what is Plenty of Fish? And my door guys being like, man, you hook up with chicks on this thing. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. You're just going to go hook up with like a random person that you met online. And then that kind of like, I'm sure it was under the guise of like a dating app, but really like that's what it sounded like.
Yeah. There was the Craigslist ones too, where it was always, they would post about how they're looking for a relationship, but then they'd be really quick to want to hook up.
Was it 100 roses? I remember that's what people talk about. 100, like the roses is like money. It's prostitution. But yeah, man, when you first start a relationship, just understand that you're only meeting the representative.
Yeah.
You're only seeing the good side, right? It's like an interview. It's like somebody who's interviewing for a job position. You're not going to show them the real you. You're just going to show them what you want to see. And then you find out afterwards.
And if you're not fully on board with the representative, then you probably need to get out of that before it's too late. Because when you meet the real person, it's not going to get better. It's probably going to get worse.
Yeah. But anyways, the online dating stuff just kind of like, it just weirded me out, man. I don't know. I would probably wouldn't be good at like this scene.
It sucks right now too, because there's a lot of people that want to do the let's go on a mask date. Where
what the fuck is a mask?
You just go out and you're both wearing masks, and you don't go near each other, or they want to do like virtual dates, and I'm just like,
that's strange.
That's how are you ever going to get to know somebody via Zoom? Like you're not going to get to know anyone romantically by walking 6 feet away from them,
masked up,
like
scared to.
If you really want to date during this time period, you have to come to the realization that you're going to have to date normally as best you can still. Like you can't go to a restaurant, but beaches are open. Go for a walk on the beach together. Like, it's nothing's bad's gonna happen at the beach. Like,
that's weird stuff, man. Anyways, next question. To answer your question, 100% pickup lines do work. If they don't, the person probably doesn't have a good sense of humor. Move on.
Yeah. So Mixed Mutt has this is his question from last week. He had one this week too, but his first one is, what's the worst gimmick you've seen at the major level and independent level?
I mean, there's so many bad gimmicks.
Yeah.
In WWE, or I'm sorry, WWF back in the day, and WCW. I mean, Shockmaster was terrible.
Yes.
And it was but I mean, it's hilarious. It's like
it's its own thing.
It's funny. People like Shockmaster because how it turned out, but you look at it and you go, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
What is a stormtrooper that's bedazzled have to do with fucking wrestling and being a Shockmaster? By the way, I'm totally down with Shockmaster. I don't know, man. Help me out with this. What's a bad?
There was the Goon.
There was the Repo Man.
Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Yo, Duke the Dumpster. He had an awesome finisher though.
Yeah.
Was it the dumpster? The dumpster something
like that. I don't remember.
But it was a power slam.
Yeah.
But it was out of like a I don't know, like a satellite kind of setup. It was sick though, dude. It was smooth as hell.
I just remember every like Saturday or Sunday morning, whenever Superstars was on, and when you're a kid, you don't know what a jobber is.
Yeah.
So you're just watching these guys every week show up and they just get their ass kicked, and you're like, but that he's a trash guy, so obviously he's not going to beat Triple H. Or
the gimmicks back in like what is it, late 80s, early 90s, where everything was like a job. You know, every gimmick related around a job or a career path.
Isaac Yankem is pretty bad.
DDS.
Yeah. I Yankem apparently is what Vince really liked. He liked the I Yankem term. And it was like, okay.
I mean, there's a whole bunch. Like, it's not hard to find bad. Like, that's bad.
Yeah.
On the indies, I'm sure there's a gazillion of them.
Yeah.
Like bad gimmick wise.
There's a couple of gimmicks right now, and I don't want to call them out, but like there's a couple that are really, really popular that I just go, I don't see the appeal of this. I don't get this. I don't get why this is exciting to people, but they're over. So I guess it works.
You know what's weird is the Danhausen gimmick. I don't think it's bad. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
The guy knows his gimmick, his talk, his face paint, and all that kind of stuff. I could see people probably like just maybe not who some people that aren't hardcore fans, because right, indie fans are like the hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Maybe looking at that and being like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And not giving it a chance. But he's fucking hilarious on his promos. So I think that's a good character, but maybe somebody outside might be like not understanding what that is.
Especially when like he's in like, I think he's in Ring of Honor now, and there's a lot of that fan base, I'm sure, that still lives in the past of Ring of Honor, which was all wrestling based,
like hardcore serious wrestling.
And now it's like this guy's running around, and it's like, all right.
Yeah. A lot of clown gimmicks.
Yes.
I remember a friend of mine telling me he went to a tryout and he said there must have been like 50 clown gimmicks.
Trying to find that next doink.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, I don't know if there's any like particular person that I want to like, that I can be like, oh yeah, this is I don't really, hey man, work your gimmick until you figure it out. You know, you tweak thing. You start off with something, a lump of clay, and you just start figuring out from there, man. Okay, this ain't working. This works. This ain't working. This works. And it takes time.
And it's tough on the indies because if you have a shitty gimmick, you're probably not going to get on shows. Like back in the day, like I thought the El Generico gimmick was so stupid, but he's such a good wrestler that he basically overcame the stupidity of he's obviously a ginger Canadian, but he's pretending he's a Mexican luchador.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Like it's so stupid, but it was good and he was funny and he was good with it. And he lived that gimmick and he worked everyone. Like I tried to talk to him at a show one time and he completely just kayfabed me. Like he was talking like, oh, no English. And I'm like, okay. Like I know
that's a great idea.
I think that was why he did the gimmick, because like you could hit him up privately for bookings, but it shows like he could just pretend like he didn't understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And you could probably just focus on selling shirts and not having to like talk to people.
And no one up until he got to WWE really knew what he looked like. So like he could walk around, even if he got to like Ring of Honor as that gimmick, like he could walk around normally and no one would know that was him.
That's the greatest thing about being a masked character is nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to bother you. Oh, here's an idea. Daft Punk. They just called it quits, right?
Yep. You
know what they look like?
Nope.
There it is right there.
And they're rich and they can go to the store and no one's going to know who they are.
I'm a Daft Punk fan. I was a big fan of them, especially that album Discovery. But think about it, like they could go outside. They revolutionized that style of music, and you can pick them out of a lineup.
Yep. Pretty
interesting, right? Fun story. Back in 2001 maybe, I was on spring break down in San Felipe. You know what the two songs, the most popular songs were on that spring break down in San Felipe?
What's that?
Daft Punk, One More Time.
I can imagine.
And Jay-Z, Big Pimpin'.
Yeah, those sound like spring break songs to me.
Big Pimpin'. Yep. We were down there in San Felipe with a bunch of NorCal people partying. Fun trip, man. Awesome trip. Me and my friend, my good friends growing up. One of the best trips I've ever been on. So much fun. But anyways, like masked characters, like, yeah, you can get away with it.
You don't know what Pentagon looks like. You don't know what Rey Fenix looks like. Like they could just walk around normal.
Well, I do know what Rey Fenix looks like.
I mean, you know what they look like because you
trained with them.
But like no one who's not trained with them, they don't know who Pentagon or Rey Fenix, what they look like.
Oh, they can just walk around without anybody knows them. Which I think is also funny that it's kind of strange that down in Mexico, so being a luchador is a big deal, right? And they always walk around with their masks on, basically, and because they're like, I don't want people to know who I am, so they always wear their masks.
Yeah,
but it's also kind of like, well, nobody's gonna know who you are because they don't know what your face looks like.
Yeah. I bet it drives Rey Mysterio crazy that he had no mask for so long in WCW.
Yeah,
because he probably could have still been able to just walk around San Diego and not be recognized. But now,
actually, one of my good friends saw him. Like, this is years and years and years ago. One of my good friends saw him on the street or at a gas station pumping gas. They were both getting gas, and my friend saw him without, and he was just, out of mask, obviously.
Yeah,
and walked over and was like, "Hey, are you so and so?" Because he just like. Ray's a smaller guy.
Yeah.
Saw the tattoos and was like, "Hey, are you so and so?" So he, I'm sure Ray got that every once in a while. I wonder if Dom. I'm gonna ask this question. Dom, growing up, be like, dude, was your dad constantly hounded?
I assume after he took the mask off in WCW and everyone knew what he looked like, I'm sure it happened a lot more than probably before.
I'm gonna ask him that next time we have him on.
That's
let's
a
ask
good
him that question and just be like, "Hey, a lot of people approach your dad when he's just walking around the street. Like, did they recognize him with his mask off?"
But I think even now, like, even if he had never taken his mask off, I feel like now that Dom is there, I feel like if anybody saw Dom walking around with a shorter guy that, Ray's height, I think everyone would just assume, oh, that's Ray. Like,
yeah, that's true. Anyways, what was the question for that again?
It was just the worst gimmick you've seen on the independent level or major level. I mean, in major, there's so many terrible gimmicks that you can't even
look at Nash. Nash had to be the Oz, right?
Yes.
He had to do like a whole bunch of stupid characters before he found the one.
Vinny Vegas.
Kane had a bunch of stupid characters before he found the one.
Fake Diesel.
Rock had a shitty character before he found the one. It's just everybody goes through it. Everybody fucking goes through it. All right, next question. Here we go.
This is from Mixed Mutt, and this is from this week. Is there anyone you think was way over and didn't deserve to be over? A second part is, say you got a contract for a major promotion tomorrow. Would you keep your current in-ring name or change it? If you changed it, what would you change it to?
Okay. Anybody that's over that didn't deserve to be over?
Yeah. So is there anyone who ever got over at any level that you were like,
I don't know.
This is tough questions because it's basically asking you to bury someone.
I mean, a lot, like when the Miz first got into WWE, a lot of people didn't like him.
No.
But I think Vince noticed that. They were like, listen, this guy, people hate this guy. Guess what? We're going to make a lot of money off of him. Yeah. So as much as people want to say, oh, we don't want to accept that person as, a top person, a top wrestler or whatever, your hatred still puts money in their pockets. Yeah. I think a lot of that with Baron Corbin right now. I'm a fan. Why? Yeah. Because he's my boy, and he came up and gave me advice in the back one day, unsolicited. He's nice as hell. But a lot of people hate him just because they don't think he's paid the dues. They don't think he's got the look.
He embraces that though too. He knows that it bugs people, so he will go out of his way to troll basically.
And I think that's great. Real heat.
Yeah, no, he's worked his ass off, and he's so much better than people give him credit for.
Hell yeah. And he's like I said, he's a nice guy to me. But I see that people don't like him, and it's because they just for some reason don't like him. But they don't realize hey man, your dislike of that guy
he's supposed to do
that's what being a heel is.
Yeah.
That's what being a heel is. And he embraces it. Good for fucking him. Somebody smartened him up. And he was like, hell yeah, I'm going to run with this.
And when it comes to The Miz, I remember a couple of years ago, everybody started liking The Miz all of a sudden. I was just like, well, what's different about him now than 2 years ago or 3 years ago? You guys are just being fickle at this point.
It's just because he was a reality star.
Yeah.
That's probably the original problem. He was a reality TV guy.
People pretended like he never trained when in reality he was at UPW and training his ass off. And he got signed quicker probably because he was on The Real World and he had kind of a name.
Yeah,
but
of course he did.
That's how you get in there.
Vince ain't stupid.
There's a guy that just got signed only because he kind of looks like Brock Lesnar and he's jacked.
Is that Parker guy?
Parker Boudreaux.
Can I ask you a question? And actually, I want to go back to The Miz, but can we talk about this real fast? Who is? I'm not sure who this guy is.
I think he's a football player.
Okay,
or something.
So he has no wrestling background.
He doesn't have any wrestling. He might
Okay.
maybe amateur wrestling background, something like that, but it's not like a.
But I mean, like professional wrestling.
No.
Okay.
Like he literally got signed because Paul Heyman said he was like the next big thing kind of deal.
Okay.
So they signed him, and now he's in developmental.
Because I see the Twitter world where he's like kind of like tweeting out. By the way, let's also move on to the. God, there's a lot to talk about, but I don't know if I have time.
You're playing time.
No, I don't. I have a workout at 3:30.
Oh, okay.
Because I see this Parker guy. He's like, he thinks he's gonna change the WWE.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what his tweets are saying, and it's like, hey dog, I respect the drive and the energy going into this, but you're gonna realize this is harder than you think, man. Not everybody walks in thinking they're gonna be Stone Cold Steve Austin, they're gonna be The Rock. Then you get a microphone put in your hand,
Yeah.
and they go cut a promo, and you just go,
And some of them don't know how hard the in-ring part of it is. There's
Yeah.
been so many like ex-MMA fighters who just thought they were going to walk in and wrestle, and they took a couple of bumps and they were like, oh, never mind.
yeah.
See you later.
And then and now you have we had Bow Wow 2 weeks ago saying that he was going to become a professional wrestler, and now you have I saw today
Soulja Boy and
Boy
Randy Orton
Pelham.
are beefing on Twitter.
And it's like, it's just so funny that like people react to this stuff. Where it's like, what did he say? Like wrestling's fake, or
he's like rap game faker than WWE.
and it's just kind of like, God, guys, don't react to this. That's exactly he's trolling, man. He's trying to get
he's looking
this
for the
attention.
reaction.
And just, hey, whatever, it's okay. You go do your rap stuff. You know, Superman. Remember that song he had?
Yeah.
Superman.
That was the joke, is that he hasn't been relevant since 2007. So
But it's tough, man. And you know, rappers, the Parker guy, they come in and they think it's easy. Time to promo it up. That's the hardest part, man. I'm telling you, promos are hard. Wrestling matches are hard. The moves, not hard. In between the moves, extremely hard. I'll put it that way.
yeah. So we'll see. But he's got a lot of pressure on his back now.
Hell yeah.
They're calling him the next Brock Lesnar. I'm like, you got a lot to live up to now.
Well, he's also going on Twitter saying, I'm going to change the wrestling world. And it's like, okay. All right. Good luck. Good luck, man. We'll see what happens.
Yep. So you said you want to go back to Miz?
Oh, so this is years ago. This is probably like 2002, before Miz was signed. We were at a house show, maybe. My older brother, myself, and like a couple of my friends. And my older brother got banged up, like drunk as shit. And who knows what happened to him, man? Like halfway through the show, he just was gone. Don't know what he was doing. And then show's over, and we're out in the this is that sports arena.
Yeah.
We're out in the hallways of the sports arena, and UPW had a little booth set up, and the Miz was there because he trained at UPW and all that kind of stuff. So he was out there like helping to promote, and I walked up to him. I was like, hey, what's up, man? You know, saying hi and all that kind of stuff. And then out of like nowhere, my drunk ass brother comes just shows up, like the crowd parts, you know, like, and my brother's drunk as shit. And he just goes, he sees me talking to the Miz, and he just goes, the Miz, and just walks up and like holds his arms open, like to give Miz a hug. And the Miz, he's cool. He's cool as shit. He starts laughing and he gives my brother a hug. And we sat there and chatted with him for a little while, but he was nice as can be, man.
He seems like he's a nice guy.
Oh yeah. He was way cool, dude. And man, I'll tell you the truth. He's one of the best performers, you know, like he's the guy you send in when you have a celebrity that you got to get something out of.
Yep.
You know, that's like Jericho's role that he had with the WWE after he left. They kind of put the Miz in that role.
Yeah.
Right. Like they had was it LeVar Ball?
Mm-hmm.
Put Miz out there. Of course, that went to shit. But you see that like Miz always was working with the celebrities.
Yeah, and he probably will at Mania again.
Probably.
Because he was the champion, but he lost it last night to Bobby Lashley.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Did you ever do anything with Bobby Lashley on any shows? Like met him at all? I know he toured the Indies and was
Nope.
on some California shows. I didn't know if you'd been around him.
No, did not. Respect the man though. Big man. Huge. Was that a two-part? Was that it?
The other one was,
the,
would you get a contract tomorrow? Would you keep your current ring name or change it? And if you changed it, what would you change it
I
to?
don't even know. I mean, listen to my fucking ring name right now. It's the lamest thing ever.
How did you come up with Camden?
I don't know. I looked at the baby names online. You know what? Funny story. So out in North Carolina for a WrestleCade. God, this is like... I'm on the Showcase of Champions. It's a Friday night show. And I had to go to the bathroom. Like, this is probably like maybe an hour before the show.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to go to the bathroom, man. I go to the bathroom. This is number 2, right? I got to go number 2. So went out to the hallway, went to the, the public bathroom that's in the convention hall there. And of course, what do you do when you're going number 2 nowadays? You ain't reading a newspaper. That's old school. What do you do?
Text.
You're reading your phone.
Twitter.
Yeah, you're on your phone, right? So I'm doing the thing, and I put my phone down for some reason on top of, like, you know how like the paper, the toilet paper dispenser. I put it on top of that, right? Take care of my business, wash my hands, leave. About 15 minutes goes by, and I go, "Where's my phone at?" Oh fuck! When's the last time I had my phone?
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom. So I'm like, holy shit. So I run back to that same bathroom. I go into that stall. It's not there. I start hitting up cleaning people, like the employees for this convention hall. And I'm like, excuse me, has anybody turned in an iPhone? Because you got to remember, your phone is everything nowadays. My plane or my airplane, my itinerary information's all on there to get back home, all this stuff. So I walk up to the employees, the cleaning people. Like, hey, have you found anything? Has anybody turned in a phone? And they're kind of radioing around saying like, hey, has anybody turned in a phone? Of course, my heart's like fucking beating like crazy. It's a stressful situation.
Yeah.
And finally somebody, like, this is, like they go, oh yeah, somebody turned in a phone. And I go, oh my God, please be my phone. So I walk up, the employee comes walking up. It's a black dude. And it's my phone. And I'm like, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate this so much. I really do. And I go, hey man, what's your name, bro? And he goes, my name's Supreme. And I go, hey, thank you very much, Supreme. And I turn to like walk away, and I go, and in my head I go, this guy's real fucking name is Supreme. This guy's, and I turn back real quick. And I go, hey man, your real name's Supreme? And he goes, yeah. I go, you understand your real name is cooler than my made up fake name? Because I'm in my gear, right? I'm in my wrestling gear. And he just starts laughing, and I'm like, thank you so much, man. I'll leave now. But obviously, I think my first name, I just wanted to keep it Mike.
Yeah.
That way, if somebody will never not call me by like, even like a show setting, a segment setting, they're never going to call me by the wrong name, right? Because I've done that with plenty of guys.
It's so awkward when you're like around wrestlers. You're like, do I call you by the name I know you by, or should I call you?
I'd rather just know their show name.
Yeah,
because that way, if we're on a show and we're promoting each other or whatever, I can always just call you that name rather than me accidentally calling you your real name, right? Yeah. So, anyways, Camden. I looked at baby books, and that name popped out, and I was like, Camden sounds kind of fun. And there you go.
I thought you were just a big Hardy Boys fan, and that's why you Camden, North Carolina.
Oh, is that what it's from?
Yeah, that's when you started talking about North Carolina. I was like, is this gonna be like?
Oh no, I also like Camden Park. Also, is kind of like another people think it's like something to do with that, or Camden, New Jersey. It's supposed to be one of the most dangerous places at one point in time. So I don't know. I just did it, and now I have it. And
that's your name, yeah.
Would I change? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Like the whole stipulation with changing your name and all that.
Just call yourself Camden Parks.
Camden Parks, maybe.
A badass name.
That's actually not a bad name.
No, it's not. You said that, and I was like, that's a good name.
It's not bad at all.
If you ever get signed, go by that name.
Camden Parks. Good idea. All right, man. We got to start wrapping this up because I gotta work out. All right, that's the last question.
Yeah, that's it. I was gonna bring up the fact you're wrestling soon. You're wrestling somebody we talked about recently on the podcast.
Tito Escondido.
Oh,
bad dude
Tito, yeah.
He used to be known as Tito Escondido. Yes, I will be on the Canna Pro show on April 3rd, I believe it is. right now. Still a little times away, but go check it out. At Canna Pro. Tito and I have never gone singles. I've interacted with him a little bit in the ring during a multi-man match, and that's about it. But I'm excited. Tito's a good guy. He's a good wrestler. I'm really looking forward to it.
I only bring that up because I was going to talk to you about something, but we'll talk about it after we're done recording before I leave. So.
Okay. And then what else do we have going on?
That's it.
All right.
Follow us, like, subscribe, leave a review. Go check out our social media, at Hogsmen Pod on both Twitter and Instagram. Go check out Big Duke's podcast this weekend. It'll be on YouTube.
The Last
and
Word
on the
with
feed.
Big Duke. It'll be on our channel. Is Devin doing a show tomorrow?
He is doing a show tomorrow. We still don't have our guest yet. It's some more dealing with nonsense, but hopefully we will get that figured out in the next couple weeks.
The Hogsmen Red and Black show tomorrow.
Yes.
Or not tomorrow.
Recording tomorrow,
Thursday.
but it'll be dropped Thursday.
Thursday morning, because I forgot.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate it. If you want the tip, you got to take the whole hog. Adios.